Good evening. So, I figured I'd add on to my last video and share some more experiences or tips, I would say, to a beginning pipe smoker. Things that I've learned that make it easier, more enjoyable. So starting out, obviously packing a pipe properly is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. And I'll probably make a separate video on that, but let's see. Second to that, I would say keeping your pipe clean would be another, which also means cleaning it every single use, unless it's a cob. I have a few cobs I don't need to actually clean in between each smoke, but all the briars, I mean, they just soak up all that, and I'll make a separate video on my cleaning process, which is quite extensive. Then there's properly lighting a pipe, and then keeping it lit. Now, I could be what's the word for it? I could be super strict about the process of lighting, but I don't follow any rules. If it's a fire, it works. If you can make it hot and stay lit, it works. My favorite, though, it's coming up to winter here, and this is actually one of my useful tips. So normally I use Bic lighters, you know. They're easy, they're cheap, they're everywhere. Zippos, they flavor it. I try and stay away from Zippos as much as possible, or at least I haven't found a tasteless fluid. I do like butane lighters. They're nice for when it's windy. It's the solid flame. You can kind of get in there, but you have to watch out for the bowl. Don't hit the bowl with that flame. It's too hot. But when it starts getting colder, and I smoke in my car all the time, so I used to commute a lot, so it's kind of my my place of reflection, which goes perfect with smoking a pipe. But as the temperature goes down, I find that like Bic lighters and things of that nature are, the colder temperature constricts the fluid and doesn't allow it to actually ignite properly, and so you can either keep it in your coat, warm it up, bring it inside, but if you leave it in your car, and if you're just going to be smoking in your car, matches are the way. They'll always work so long as you keep them dry. And that's not really an issue. And I guess if you want to get technical, matches are actually the proper way to light a pipe all the time, in my opinion. But windy, outside windy scenarios, matches don't exactly stay lit as well as cupping your pipe with a lighter. That kind of gets it done. But I did just finally pick up a bunch of matches. I haven't actually been using them for quite a long time. But they're cheaper than lighters probably, because they last longer. And so once you light, you depending on the tobacco, it takes a few times to light. The first one's usually called the char. Kind of just chars that top tobacco, and if it's the whiter the tobacco, the more times you're going to have to light it to keep it going. And there's no shame in relighting. Sometimes, depending on the tobacco, it can just go out on you, even though you're using proper cadence, and it's just a blend to blend sort of thing, so you gotta be aware of that. But tamping is definitely a good thing to get in the habit of doing, which is just pressing down on the coals. And I'm actually just gonna relight. Normally you want to be drawing as you're tamping. It just gives an even airflow surface for the oxygen to move in. And I like a good 1-inch flame, and then just hold it up. So then you come to your draw pattern and your cadence. Once you actually have a pipe lit, it's very important the length of your draws and the frequency of how often you're drawing is very critical to keeping a pipe lit. And I'm probably a bad example of this. I smoke really fast most of the time. Most of the blends I can do that with though, but if it's a good blend, I'll take it slow. And it's something that it's very hard to teach. You kind of just need to practice with it, and you'll figure it out what works best. Then as you're smoking, feel your bowl and feel the temperature, and with experience you'll learn that there's a too hot temperature, which means you need to slow down. And if you reach that, I mean, there's a risk of a burn through or charring the inside of your bowl, which is not ideal. You don't want that to happen. And I've heard some people, try and switch sides of their mouth between each pipe, one pipe here, one pipe there. I don't really do that. I'm mainly out of my left side. It's just what feels better. Oh, and as you've noticed, I have a pipe bit on there. These are relatively cheap. I just got a bunch on eBay for $, like hundreds of them, and they just help protect the pipe. Makes it easier to clench it. Doesn't hurt the teeth. I went far too long without these. I wish I had them from the beginning. Let's see. I suppose you've noticed I'm every so often I'm spitting. I don't think a lot of pipe smokers do this. Something about when I draw, I kind of gleek inside my mouth, so it gets really wet, and so I just got to get that out of there. I don't like swallowing that spit or anything. It's kind of gross. I'd rather just get it out of there. I suppose one of the things I left out before even packing or lighting a pipe, you need to be choosing your blends. Just starting out, it's kind of just a matter of trying everything, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, and finding out what you prefer. For instance, what I'm smoking right now was an aromatic blend that I really didn't like. It was hard to get through, and I still have a lot of it, but I don't want to waste it. And So I picked up some blending Perique and mixed it in with it, and I'm a very large fan of Perique. It's my favorite tobacco. And I mixed that in there, and it seems to make it a little more bearable. It said it had a hint of rum. It's Burley's, Kentucky's, and Virginia's, and a hint of rum. So I'm assuming that's an aromatic term, but just wasn't my favorite. And now it's not too bad. Another thing I've found is if you find a blend that you absolutely just can't stand, you know, it's just gross and you just don't want it anymore. I'll usually keep blends like that. And as you're packing your bowl, your first pinch could be that nasty stuff, and put that down in there deep, just a little bit. But keep that tobacco very dry, like drier than any tobacco that you want. And then put your other blend on top of it. And as you're smoking the other blend, the moisture that comes through should be caught by that bottom blend. And that moisture will help, because it's basically the flavor of the top blend. It'll help make the bottom blend bearable, but if you don't even make it to the bottom, you're not missing out on anything. Like, you've already smoked all your good blend. But should you hit the bottom, I mean, the bottom of a pipe is always kind of gross anyway, so you shouldn't really even notice it, but it's a good way to get rid of that other tobacco. Anyway, I'll probably make a few different parts to this and try and get the rest of my thoughts in. Seems to always take too long. Have a good day.